Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to identify an angle which might lead us to the winner. Well, the final Group 1 day of the Hong Kong season on Sunday, the Champions and Chater Cup, always one of my favourite races on the calendar, as it's been famous for some long-priced upsets. Over the years, it has been a burial ground for some of the great horses of Hong Kong racing, and at very short prices too. So Romantic Warrior, he's going to be long odds on Sunday. So pin your ears back, in you go, but be aware of that history. That's not one of the races I'm going to look at. I'm looking first at race 9, where our winning factor is the jockey. Now, this is a very tidy Class 2 event here, and like most Class 2s, you can make a case for quite a number of the runners, including the John Size stablemates, Red Lion and Eremo. The Golden Scenery hasn't won for a while, but is certainly racing well enough. Galaxy Witness and Flagship Warrior both went through the 4-year-old series races. And down in the weights, Majestic Colour is coming up in class from some solid runs in Class 3. So they're all players, but the horses that I'm highlighting here are Galaxy Witness and Majestic Colour. Now, first of all, Galaxy Witness. Now, as I mentioned, he went through the 4-year-old series and he ran with credit, but wasn't able to get the big end of the prize over the longer distances against the 4-year-olds. But here he is coming back to 1,400 metres, which just about seems his pet distance. And the replay I've got for you goes back to his last run over this distance. We're going back to January. This is race 339. He's in red and yellow colours from barrier 13. And Hugh Bowman, the jockey here, is in no hurry on Galaxy Witness early. He goes right back to last. But if you look at the heat map there, he does have a decent speed going on up front to help him out. And at the rear is where he stays until they get into the home straight. And you see he has some momentary inconvenience getting across heels to the outside and is therefore still last at the 300 metre mark before surging powerfully late to just fail to overhaul Tuchel. Now, Tuchel got the result there and certainly got all the points from the judges as well, because he did race wide in that event. But he's going to be one of our Group 1 milers next season, Tuchel, so it's certainly a high quality finish there that Galaxy Witness was running into. Now, he gave the winner weight and ran the fastest last 400 metre sectional of the day, something that we do see quite often from Galaxy Witness. He does have that big finishing sprint, but he has a get-back style, and that is a disadvantage for him, especially vis-a-vis Majestic Colour, the other horse that we're examining. So let's have a look at Majestic Colour. He was beaten on a wet track last time, but we're going to go back 2 starts, and this is race 585. He's in gate 7, yellow colours, also with Bowman aboard, and Majestic Colour jumps well. He's quickly into a great spot in 3rd with a decent tempo, and he travels very well there behind the leaders. Now, you see the pace slows around the circle before they sprint for home, and Majestic Colour gobbles up the leaders in the home straight, looks the winner briefly, but he can't resist the finish of Hyper Dragon Ball, who follows him through and runs on too well, getting 16 pounds off him at the handicaps. Now, as I said, he was beaten last time out, but that was on a wet track, so I'm inclined to overlook that. And that form in the race we've just seen probably makes him as good a chance as anything in the race. And when we take in the map, he might be even the best chance in the race on form, because the Frankie Law-trained pair of Majestic Colour and Sylvestre, returning from a long break after a health issue, look to have complete control of the pace in a slowly run race here. Now, just about every other runner wants to sit back and run on, so there'll be no pressure on the leaders to set much of a speed at all, and they'll try to turn it into a sprint from the top of the home straight. And while Majestic Colour is the inferior horse out of he and Galaxy Witness, that kind of a race map might normally swing me to his way. But there is an additional factor that we have to take into account. And what you're seeing here is a graphic of the two jockeys, Sha Tin, who rides Galaxy Witness, and Alex Lai, who rides Majestic Colour. Now, one of the great eternal arguments in racing is how much difference a good jockey makes. The statistics suggest it might not be huge, but it is a difference. And if we have two horses with almost equal chances, all things considered, I think most punters are going to go for the better rider. And as you see here, the last 10 years between Sha Tin and Alex Lai, Majestic Colours rider on Sunday, have been chalk and cheese. Now, that's not to say Alex hasn't had a good career. He holds an almost unique place in Hong Kong racing as one of only two Hong Kong Chinese jockeys to have won a Group 1 overseas, taking out the 2010 Sprinters Stakes in Tokyo on Ultra Fantasy for Ricky Yu. But he hasn't had a winner so far this season. There is talk of retirement, and perhaps Frankie Law and Majestic Colours owner may be hoping to give him a send-off on this horse, and it's a great opportunity. Good luck to him, but as a hard-nosed bettor, it's hard not to go with Sha Tin, one of our best and right at the top of his game. So the tip for me in race 9 is Galaxy Witness. His winning factor, the jockey. Now, certainly if the riders were the other way around, I think I would probably be going for Majestic Colour. And this is tricky. Caris will have to get the tactics and the timing exactly right to overcome the pace disadvantage. But we have seen that Galaxy Witness has a big finishing sprint, and getting it right is what makes Sha Tin one of our best jockeys. The second race I'm taking a look at for Sunday is race 11, where our winning factor is the map. A handy class 3 over 1600 metres here, and certainly chances for Capital Legend for Hugh Bowman. Owner's Praise has a shot. War Weapon worth another chance back to a firmer surface. But I think the race and the market is going to revolve around three runners in particular. Zach Purton's mount Helene Feeling, the likely leader Run Buddy, and Smiling Collector down in the weights. Now, I think Helene Feeling is almost certainly going to be our favourite here with Zach Purton up. He's a lightly raced 3-year-old. He's got it all ahead of him, and he's coming off some good form at Happy Valley, winning over 1650 metres before he started favourite last time and was beaten, but certainly not disgraced. This is race 633, and I want you to pay close attention to gate 8, light orange colours, and Helene Feeling hesitates when the gates open, and that's something that he has done to varying degrees every start. But Purton doesn't give him the night off just for that and revs the favourite up to push into the first 4 within 200 metres, and afterwards Helene Feeling gets a great trip in what is just a steady first half. The pace increases after the 800 metres, but it's a setup where Helene Feeling did get his chance to win, but couldn't get past the horse he raced behind all the way, Winning Dragon, who had the help of an apprentice claim. So still a very sound effort from the young horse, but bear in mind that start that we showed you there. It'll come up later. The other two horses that we're examining were both beaten out of the placings at their latest run. However, they did have a few things working against them. First of all, Run Buddy. This is race 663, and this was the 4th time in a row Run Buddy had drawn very wide, and in red colours from gate 14 he makes his usual lightning start and then works his way across towards the lead. Now, things are all good until the horse under him starts to fight the rider and over race, and they run through the second 400 metres here much faster, spreading the field out and certainly softening Run Buddy up at his first start over the mile. And that does count against him in the home straight, despite a brave attempt to stay in the finish. Now, obviously, that was also a wet track, so we have a couple of reasons to put that run aside from Run Buddy, and I thought he raced with credit nevertheless. The other horse that we're looking at is Smiling Collector, and he's been racing up on the speed successfully since he switched to 1600 metres. Here he is in race 621. This is his latest in late April from gate 9 in blue and yellow colours. And Luke Ferraris is one of our best jockeys from the gates, and Smiling Collector for him begins fast, then finds a couple punching up under him. And you can see on the heat map that they weren't messing about. The pace is faster than average for all of the first half of the race before the leaders finally get to back it off around the circle, but the damage has been done. The eventual first 4 home in this race come from the back half of the field. His two co-leaders run last and third last, but look at Smiling Collector. He's still in front at the 150 metres, only weakening late to finish in 6th placing. So big excuses there for those two horses we've seen in the last two replays, and they're excuses that I don't think are going to be coming up on Sunday, certainly not on paper. When we take a look at the map, the remarkable thing about this race is just how much middling speed there is in terms of gate speed, and we've seen how both of them can begin. Run Buddy, who finally draws a good barrier, and Smiling Collector right next to him, well, that's pretty much it for speed. At times we've seen Happy Together fairly handy, likewise Never Too Soon, though he's never raced well that way, and perhaps if Helene Feeling does his usual awkward jump, Purton will be pushing him forward again to get into striking range. But this is a race on paper where all the control lies with these two leaders. Do I think that's the final word on the map? Probably not, because as it often happens in Hong Kong, it's so obvious a pace setup that I'm sure there'll be others thinking and changing their tactics to try to suit the race. But that does always carry with it the danger for those horses of taking them out of their comfort zone. But the tip from me in race 11 is Smiling Collector. His winning factor, the map. I really do think that these two front runners are going to control the race, but Smiling Collector, he already has a tick in the box next to winning at 1600 metres, and he's getting a little weight pull off Run Buddy, and I think that might be enough to swing things his way. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Enjoy the Group 1 on Sunday. We'll see you next time.